Dear friends, hello and welcome. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on structure of disaccharides and polysaccharides. Now let us start with the objectives. Number first, to gain an insight about different types of saccharides. Number second, to know about the structure of various disaccharides such as sucrose, cellulose, maltose and lactose. To discuss the structure of polysaccharides such as starch and cellulose. Now we will start with the saccharides. A saccharide is a group that includes sugars, starch and cellulose. These perform numerous roles in living organisms and they play key roles in the immune system, fertilization, preventing pathogenesis, blood clotting and development. There are various types of saccharides including monosaccharides, disaccharides and polysaccharides. Monosaccharide is the smallest possible sugar unit. They are the simplest carbohydrates in that they cannot be hydrolyzed to smaller carbohydrates. Disaccharides are composed of two monosaccharide units bound together by a covalent bond known as glycosidic linkage formed via dehydration reaction. Polysaccharides are polymeric carbohydrate molecules composed of long chains of monosaccharide units bound together by glycosidic linkages and on hydrolysis give the constituent monosaccharides. They serve for the storage of energy, for example starch and glycogen, and as structural components, for example cellulose in plants and chitin in arthropods. Now let us discuss the carbohydrates. A carbohydrate is a biological molecule consisting of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms, usually with a hydrogen-oxygen atom in the ratio of 2:1. In other words, with the empirical formula CmH2O(n), where M could be different from N. The term is most common in biochemistry, where it is a synonym of saccharide. Carbohydrates perform numerous roles in living organisms. Polysaccharides serve for the storage of energy, for example starch and glycogen, and as structural components, for example cellulose in plants and chitin in arthropods. The 5-carbon monosaccharide ribose is an important component of coenzyme, for example ATP, FAD and NAD, and the backbone of the genetic molecules known as RNA. The related deoxyribose is a component of DNA. Saccharides and their derivatives include many other important biomolecules that play key roles in the immune system, fertilization, preventing pathogenesis, blood clotting and development. Now let us discuss the main part of our today's topic, that is the disaccharides. A disaccharide, also called as biose, is the carbohydrate formed when two monosaccharides undergo a condensation reaction which involves the elimination of a small molecule from the functional groups only and formation of a glycosidic bond. In word disaccharide, di specifies exactly two. Examples include sucrose, maltose and lactose. They are composed of two monosaccharide units bound together by a covalent bond known as glycosidic linkage formed via a dehydration reaction, resulting in the loss of a hydrogen atom from one monosaccharide and a hydroxyl group from the other. Sucrose is made from glucose and fructose. Maltose is made up of two glucose molecules and lactose is made from glucose and galactose. The formula of unmodified disaccharides is C12H22O11. There are two different types of disaccharides, that is reducing disaccharides and non-reducing disaccharides. Number first is the reducing disaccharides, in which one monosaccharide, that is the reducing sugar, still has a free hemiacetal unit, for example cellulose and maltose. Number second is the non-reducing disaccharides, in which the components bond through an acetal linkage between their anomeric centers and neither monosaccharide has a free hemiacetal unit, for example sucrose and trehalose. Now, let us discuss the structure of disaccharides. Number first is the sucrose. The molecule is a disaccharide combination of the monosaccharides glucose and fructose with the formula C12H22O11. It is commonly named table sugar or sugar. Saccharose is an obsolete name for sugars in general, especially sucrose. It's white, odorless, crystalline powder with a sweet taste and is probably the single most abundant pure organic chemical in the world. The word sucrose was coined in 1857 by the English chemist William Miller from the French sucre meaning sugar and a generic chemical suffix for sugars, that is ose. Now, let us discuss its structure. Unlike most other disaccharides, sucrose is not a reducing sugar and does not exhibit mutarotation. These facts imply that sucrose has no hemiacetal linkages and that glucose and fructose must both be glycosides. This can happen only if the two sugars are joined by a glycoside link between C1 of glucose and C2 of fructose. In sucrose, the components glucose and fructose are linked via an ether bond between C1 on the glycosyl subunit and C2 on the fructosyl unit. The bond is called a glycosidic linkage. Glucose exists predominantly as two isomeric pyranoses, but only one of these forms links to the fructose. Fructose itself exists as a mixture of furanoses, each of which having an isomer, but only one particular isomer links to the glycosyl unit. What is notable about the sucrose is that unlike most disaccharides, the glycosidic bond is formed between the reducing ends of both glucose and fructose and not between the reducing end of one and the non-reducing end of the other. Now, let us discuss the second disaccharide, that is the maltose. Maltose, also known as maltobiose or malt sugar, is a disaccharide formed from two units of glucose joined with an alpha 1,4 bond formed from a condensation reaction. The isomer isomaltose has two glucose molecules linked through an alpha 1,6 bond. Maltose was discovered by Irish chemist and brewer Cornelius Sullivan in 1872. Its name comes from malt, from Old English mealt of Germanic origin, and the suffix ose, a suffix denoting names of sugars and other carbohydrates. Now, let us discuss its structure. Maltose is a disaccharide formed by the union of two glucose units. The two are classified as hexoses because each one is composed of 6 carbons. The two glucoses which compose maltose are cyclized in pyrrone form and are joined by an O-glycosidic bond through one of the first glucose carbon and fourth carbon of the second glucose, indicated as 1,4. The link is characterized as alpha due to the OH position of the anomeric carbon in the opposite plane of CH2OH radical. Due to O-glycosidic link, maltose is a disaccharide that can reduce Fehling's reagent. Furthermore, maltose can be obtained by hydrolysis of glycogen or starch. An isomer of maltose is isomaltose. This is similar to maltose, but instead of bonds in position alpha 1,4, the linkage is formed in position alpha 1,6. Therefore, glycogen branching is defined by isomaltose. Like maltose, isomaltose is also a reducing sugar. Maltose in aqueous solution exhibit mutarotation due to its anomeric carbon, which can form alpha and beta isomers. Now, let us discuss the another disaccharide, that is lactose. Lactose is a disaccharide sugar derived from galactose and glucose that is found in milk. Lactose makes up around 2 to 8% of milk by weight, although the amount varies among species and individuals and milk with a reducing amount of lactose also exists. The name comes from lac or lactis, the Latin word for milk, plus the os ending used to name sugars. It has a formula of C12H22O11. Now, let us discuss its structure. Lactose is a disaccharide derived from the condensation of galactose and glucose, which form a beta-1,4 glycosidic linkage. The glucose can be in either the alpha pyranose form or the beta pyranose form, whereas the galactose can only have the beta pyranose form. Hence, alpha lactose and beta lactose refer to anomeric form of the glucopyranose ring alone. Lactose is hydrolyzed to glucose and galactose isomerized in alkaline solution to lactulose and catalytically hydrogenated to the corresponding polyhydric alcohol, that is lactitol. Food industry applications have markedly increased since the 1960s. For example, its bland flavor has lent to its use as a carrier and stabilizer of aromas and pharmaceutical products. Lactose is not added directly to many foods because its solubility is less than other sugars commonly used in food. Another major use of lactose is in the pharmaceutical industry. That is, lactose is added to pills as a filler because of its physical properties, that is, compressibility and low price. For similar reasons, it can be used to dilute heroin. Now, let us discuss the last disaccharide, that is cellobiose. Cellobiose, a reducing sugar, consists of two glucose molecules linked by an beta-1,4 bond. It can be hydrolyzed to glucose enzymatically or with acid. Now, let us discuss its structure. Cellobiose is a disaccharide formed by the union of two glucose units. The two are classified as hexoses because each one is composed of 6 carbons. Cellobiose has 8 free alcohol groups, 1 acetyl linkage and 1 hemiacetal linkage, which give rise to strong inter- and intramolecular hydrogen bonds. It can be obtained by enzymatic or acidic hydrolysis of cellulose and cellulose-rich materials such as cotton, jute or paper. Treatment of cellulose with acetic anhydride and sulfuric acid gives cellobiose octaacetate, which cannot engage in hydrogen bonding and is soluble in non-polar organic solvents. Now, let us discuss the next part of our today's lecture, that is the polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are polymeric carbohydrate molecules composed of long chains of monosaccharide units bound together by glycosidic linkages and on hydrolysis give the constituent monosaccharides or oligosaccharides. They range in structure from linear to highly branched. The chains of polysaccharide molecule may be made up of hundreds or thousands of monosaccharides. Polysaccharides are polymers. A simple compound is a monomer, while a complex compound is a polymer which is made of 2 or more monomers. In biology, when we talk about building blocks, we are usually talking about the monomers. Polysaccharides are often quite heterogeneous, containing slight modifications of the repeating unit. Depending on their structure, these macromolecules can have distinct properties from their monosaccharide building blocks. They may be amorphous or even insoluble in water. When all the monosaccharides in a polysaccharide are the same type, the polysaccharide is called a homopolysaccharide or homoglycan. But when more than one type of monosaccharide is present, they are called heteropolysaccharides or heteroglycans. Now, let us discuss the types of polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are of two types, that is storage polysaccharides and structural polysaccharides. Number first is the storage polysaccharides. They may act as food stores in plants in the form of starch or food stores in humans and other animals in the form of glycogen. Glycogen serves as a secondary long-term energy storage in animal and fungal cells, with the primary energy stores being held in adipose tissue. Glycogen is made primarily by the liver and the muscles, but can also be made by glycogenesis within the brain and stomach. Glycogen is the analog of starch, a glucose polymer in plants, and is sometimes referred to as animal starch. Starch is a glucose polymer made up of amylose and amylopectin, in which glucopyranose units are bounded by alpha linkages. Starches are insoluble in water. Both humans and animals have amylases so that they can digest starches. Potato, rice, wheat and maize are major sources of starch in the human diet. The formations of starches are the ways that plants store glucose. Number second is the structural polysaccharides. They have structural roles in the plant cell wall in the form of cellulose or pectin and the tough outer skeleton of insects in the form of chitin. Cellulose structural constituents of plants are made mainly from cellulose, a type of polysaccharide. Wood is mostly made of cellulose, while paper and cotton are almost pure cellulose. Chitin, a polysaccharide, is one of the most abundant natural materials in the world. Chitin is the main component of fungi cell walls, the exoskeletons of arthropods such as crabs, lobsters, ants, beetles and butterflies. Chitin is also the main component of the beaks of squid and octopuses. Chitin is useful for several industrial and medical purposes. Now, let us discuss the two most important polysaccharides, that is starch and cellulose. Number first is the starch. Starch or amylum is a carbohydrate consisting of a large number of glucose units joined by glycosidic bonds. This polysaccharide is produced by most green plants as an energy store. It is the most common carbohydrate in human diets and is contained in large amounts in such staple foods as potatoes, wheat, maize, rice, etc. Pure starch is a white, tasteless and odorless powder that is insoluble in cold water or alcohol. It consists of two types of molecules, that is the linear and helical amylose and the branched amylopectin. Depending on the plant, starch generally contains 20 to 25% amylose and 75 to 80% amylopectin by weight. Starch is processed to produce many of the sugars in processed foods. Dissolving starch in warm water gives wheat paste, which can be used as a thickening, stiffening or gluing agent. The biggest industrial non-food use of starch is as adhesive in the paper making process. Starch can be applied to parts of some garments before ironing to stiffen them. Now, let us discuss its structure. Starches are glucose polymers in which glucopyranose units are bounded by alpha linkages. It is made up of a mixture of amylose, that is 15 to 20% and amylopectin, that is 80 to 85%. Amylose consists of a linear chain of several hundred glucose molecules, and amylopectin is a branched molecule made of several thousand glucose units. Starches are insoluble in water. The enzymes that break down or hydrolyze starch into the constituent sugars are known as amylases. Alpha amylases are found in the plants and in animals. Human saliva is rich in amylase and the pancreas also secretes the enzyme. Individuals from population with a high starch diet tend to have more amylase genes than those with low starch diets. Beta amylase cuts starch into maltose units. This process is important in the digestion of starch and is also used in brewing, where amylase from the skin of seed grains is responsible for converting starch to maltose. Now, let us discuss another polysaccharide, that is cellulose. Cellulose is an organic compound with the formula C6H10O5, a polysaccharide consisting of a linear chain of several hundreds to many thousands of beta-1,4 linked D-glucose units. Cellulose is an important structural component of the primary cell wall of green plants, many forms of algae and the oomycetes. Some species of bacteria secrete it to form biofilms. Cellulose is the most abundant organic polymer on earth. The cellulose content of cotton fiber is 90%, that of wood is 40 to 50%, and that of dried hemp is approximately 45%. Cellulose is mainly used to produce paperboard and paper. Smaller quantities are converted into a wide variety of derivative products such as cellophane and rayon. Conversion of cellulose from energy crops into biofuels such as cellulosic ethanol is under investigation as an alternative fuel source. Cellulose for industrial use is mainly obtained from wood pulp and cotton. Some animals, particularly ruminants and termites, can digest cellulose with the help of symbiotic microorganisms that live in their guts, such as Trichonympha. In humans, cellulose acts as a hydrophilic bulking agent for feces and is often referred to as a dietary fiber. Now, let us discuss its structure. Cellulose has no taste, is odorless, hydrophilic, chiral, biodegradable and insoluble in water and most organic solvents. It can be broken down chemically into its glucose units by treating it with concentrated acids at high temperature. Cellulose is derived from D-glucose units which condense through beta-1,4 glycosidic bonds. This linkage motif contrasts with that of alpha-1,4 glycosidic bonds present in starch, glycogen and other carbohydrates. Cellulose is a straight chain polymer. Unlike starch, no coiling or branching occurs and the molecule adapts an extended and rather stiff rod-like conformation aided by the equatorial conformation of the glucose residues. The multiple hydroxyl groups on the glucose from one chain form hydrogen bonds with oxygen atoms on the same or a neighboring carbon, holding the chains firmly together side by side and forming microfibrils with high tensile strength. This confers tensile strength in cell walls where cellulose microfibrils are meshed into a polysaccharide matrix. Plant-derived cellulose is usually found in a mixture with hemicellulose, lignin, pectin and other substances, while bacterial cellulose is quite pure, has a much higher water content and higher tensile strength due to higher chain lengths. Cellulose consists of crystalline and amorphous regions. By treating it with strong acid, the amorphous region can be broken up, thereby producing nanocrystalline cellulose, a novel material with many desirable properties. Recently, nanocrystalline cellulose was used as the filler phase in bio-based polymer matrices to produce nanocomposites with superior thermal and mechanical properties. That was all about today's lecture. Hope you have understood it very well. Thank you very much and have a good day.